going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Dylan here today, and right now I'm currently at Costco, actually just gonna grab a few things. But today we're actually going to be going over a beat I made. It's like a Kid Cudi type beat with his album recently dropping this week. I just kind of thought it would be cool to make one. So without further ado, let's get into it. So one unique thing about a lot of the beats Kid Cudi chooses is the fact that they don't really have hi-hats playing throughout the song. Like maybe you'll have like a roll here and there, but it's not like a typical trap beat where you'll just hear the hi-hats playing throughout. And so for the beat I made, I didn't use any hi-hats, and I just used a bunch of different drum sounds to like establish a cool rhythm, like using just a bunch of random sounds, in all honesty, that kind of just play off each other and bounce off each other. So here's what that sounds like. And so the first thing that I did was I got like a really heavy kick, and I actually made this kick specifically for this beat. Like almost sounds like somebody's like stomping. But here's how this kick sounds, and I just it just establishes the rhythm. Alright, so that's just the kick. Then one thing that's pretty unique about Kid Cudi's beats is a lot of the drums, like the snares or claps, they're always really distorted or have like a lot of reverb on them. So I actually combined two different claps. This clap right here, I named it Explosive. And then also this other clap, which is like a little bit more like crunchy. And together they sound like this with the In addition to that, in order to kind of build up to that sound, I used two toms, and they're both like lower sounding. The first one is a bit of like a deeper low sound, and then the middle one, honestly, you can barely hear it. But here's how the first one sounds. And that just sounds kind of like a click. So here's how this sounds together, like with the buildup of these drums. The next thing that I did is I added this this tom drum and this rim. So here's just how the tom sounds. It's like a kind of like a popping sound, and then the rim tied with it is just, it just sounds like a piece of wood like tapping at something. And then the next thing I added was just this other perk, which just kind of sounds like two like drumsticks like hitting together with like some reverb on it. And here's how that sounds. And then the last sound I added was this. It just sounds like a really distant snare, like it's almost in like a different room, but you're hearing it. So a lot of reverb on that, and like I mentioned, there's a lot of reverb on these drums, and a lot of them just kind of sound like a bunch of different random things, but that's what kind of gives it like a cool, like spacey vibe or out of this world vibe. And one key thing to note about these drums is towards the end I kind of change it up a little bit, or else it just gets a little boring, but I want to keep it, you know, simple as well. You can't just have like just random drums. Just if I would have just gone and done this at the end, or like done that and all that stuff, then it would completely throw the artist off. So after that, and I'm building this beat pretty much completely the opposite way I would build any other beat. I actually started with the synth bass, and so I just had this synth bass, and just to kind of give it a darker vibe, I had the notes kind of going down, 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 and then up towards the end. a bit. And so I'll just show you how that sounds because I'm not sure if I make any sense. Just gives it that really dark kind of vibe. And one thing that I do, and that is done in a lot of Kid Cudi type beats, is they switch between different synths. And so here's the other synth as well. Next thing that I did was just using those bass notes. I actually got a synth pad, and it just had like a kind of spacey sound, like a soft attack on it as well, so everything kind of just blends together. And I think that's really a key for these types of beats as well, because you want it to kind of sound out of this world, and you don't want anything in the melodies or the chords to just overly stick out. It kind of all has to blend together. And so here's what I used for that. So, really simple. Then the other sound that I used was I used another synth kind of pad type sound, and I just put it on the exact same chords as well. And here's how that sounds. Now basically I'll show you guys how I laid the song out, as there's not really any other parts to it. Essentially what I did for the intro is I moved the primary synth pad, I moved it up an octave just so it's a bit higher. Then I added a filter to it, just kind of make the sound like cave in a bit before the chorus hits, with pretty much everything playing together. And then right here I take out some sounds, bring back in the synth pad at the higher octave, and switch the bass, and then just leave a few drum sounds. So let's give it. Alright, so that is pretty much everything, guys. Thank you for checking out this video. Hopefully this was helpful. Make sure to go and check out Kid Cudi's new album. It is pretty dope. I do enjoy it. Or I do. I guess I do enjoy it. Yes. I do. Yeah, whatever. But anyways, thank you guys for checking out this video, and I will see you soon. Peace.